Hey everyone, I hope this video finds you in good spirits. I am here to share my eviction story. For those of you who may or you may not know, that I am currently homeless at this moment. Yes, I am fighting this. What I have experienced has been called constructive retaliatory eviction. And what that means is this is how corporate people extort money from people who make a lot of money. That's exactly what the management team at Sky House Orlando did to me. So let's give you an idea of what the timeline was like. We moved in September the 3rd. Before moving in, there were quite a few red flags that I dealt with concerning the management team, but it did not matter because I was able to produce what they required in order to move into the apartments. Their requirements is that they wanted you to make 3 times the amount of rent from one income source. I had multiple income sources, and some of my sources were being liquidated. If you understand what that means, I was pulling myself away from certain businesses and particular clients. We were trying to like wrap it up and move in another direction, and I was just dealing with a lot at that time. And dealing with that, I also was still in partnership with someone. I will not mention her name because that's another story for another time. But we were working together on another project, and she gave me an offer letter that allowed me to present this to Sky House so that I can move into the apartment because they required me to show this proof from one income source. And this was one income source that I know is going to make this money from because this is the offer and we had been talking about this for freaking years. So that's how I got into the apartment. Awesome, right? So when I did get into this apartment, there were some issues with it, but they rectified all of that. They made sure I had the right insurance, I had the right, cable, all of this cool stuff. They were amazing for me moving in. So how did I get to my first eviction? Because I'm homeless from a second eviction. Interesting, right? So how did we get to this first eviction? Well, this business partner of mine ghosted me. And that's why I say that's another story for another time. But yeah, they ghosted me. Unfortunately, that caused financial delays. I had started another program called Ghost Wig Making with my Wig Making 101 business. I was pulling myself away from that particular business itself. My grandmother had just passed away September the 17th. Mind you, I moved in September the 3rd. My grandmother passed away on the 17th. And my brother uh, is incarcerated. And he got incarcerated shortly after, like sometime September the 20th or something of that sort. So I had a lot of distractions and heartbreak and a lot of things kind of going on, but I was still moving the way I felt I needed to move at the time. And so that caused a lot of financial delays for me because I had all of these different things that were becoming a distraction for me where I could not focus on what really was going on with Sky House Orlando. So that's really pretty much it. So with the financial delays, with the ghosting from a business partner, and me pulling away and all these different things, I needed to reach out to our Florida for rental assistance. My brother told me about it, and also I think it was a 5-day notice. I got a 5-day notice from our Florida, October the 4th. Like that was another red flag. The first red flag was the amount of rent they wanted you to make 3 times the amount of rent, and it had to come from one source. So that was one red flag for me. But like I said, I didn't care. I was able to produce what they needed in order for me to get into the apartment. That's all that mattered at that point. And I was assuming I was going to be doing these things, but that didn't pan out. So October the 4th, they put a 5 day notice on my door. A 3 day, yeah, 3 day notice to pay rent or give possession. This was another red flag because this is a form of fear tactic. When you want somebody to pay, or you're trying to extort money from people, you use this to kind of scare them. But this one wasn't like that. She did give me some information to help me to get assistance if I needed it. And that was the other red flag. Like, okay. But, I needed the assistance. I was taking care of a lot of different things financially. And so that's what I did. I applied for it and I was approved for it. I was approved for it, and they still went through the eviction process. So, and they told me that I owed more than I actually did. And that was, well, no, they didn't. It was never in the paperwork, I don't believe, but I'll look back. But November the 5th, I got a eviction summons. And the worst thing you could do when you get an eviction summons is not actually follow the directions on here. Now, I didn't do that. I didn't answer. I didn't respond. I didn't do anything because, one, I assumed because our Florida approved it, the amount of rent that needed to be taken care of, and it was being taken care of 3 months after. Um, it's just like, what, I don't even know why this is it. So I ignored it, which I shouldn't have done that, but I wouldn't have come to the next issue that I ended up having. So November the 5th, they sent me a summons, and then I got a judgment, a final judgment, and an issue writ of possession. What that means is they asked the judge to give them the right to take possession of the apartment. And then I got an eviction notice, a 24-hour eviction notice, on the 14th of December, 2 days before my birthday. That exact same day, December the 14th, I had already rendered 2 checks and something else. I believe I only rendered them 2 checks or something, but I was assuming because we had already communicated how things were happening with our Florida, the communication issues that we both were dealing with. It just took some time for them to make sure that they got the checks to me, and it happened. And yeah, so I rendered those to the Sky House Orlando team. And I tried to enjoy the rest of my birthday, which was December the 16th, and, was hoping that everything would be good for Christmas and everything because I was getting back to work. Well, I got evicted December the 20th, 5 days before Christmas. And also December the 20th, it was said that they were doing audits, and I'm like, okay, there's another flag, but whatever. When the sheriff came to our door to remove us from the apartment, I was pretty much really out of it, honestly. Loss of my grandmother, a strained relationship with my own mother, a very difficult situation dealing with my brother and making sure he's okay while he's incarcerated, and then trying to make sure that me and my husband, because he was doing his thing and I was doing mine, we're trying to make sure we can get our things together so we can just move on with life. And I just wasn't in the right mind, but they escorted me to go downstairs to speak with them. So that was another red flag for me as well, to have, the sheriff come and say, well, you need to go downstairs and talk to them, make sure everything is okay. It's like, oh, okay, red flag, I got you. But I did that and talked with them, and they made me, and I don't want to say they made me, I signed the stipulation agreement. I signed it because I was under distress. All of the distractions that I dealt with, all of the loss, all of the different things happening to me, and then here I am about to be homeless. I was pretty much homeless in my mind because I was no longer able to get into my apartment. So in order to do that, I had to sign the stipulation agreement. So the stipulation agreement was quite interesting too, because the amount that they were saying that I owed was probably like 3 or 4 times more than the actual amount of rent that I do pay based off what my lease says. So if you don't read your lease, read your damn lease. But I signed the stipulation agreement on the 21st, which was the following day. I was still working with Wig Making 101's Ghost Wig Making program. And then all of a sudden I had to like let that go because I had to get back to making sure all of this was good. Lord, is it so? After the stipulation, after being able to be reinstated into my apartment, went back to work, and this happened. Apparently, something happened in a resident's apartment across from us, and it caused a major flood in all 4 apartments in the corner of where we live. And so we had water damage to the floors that happened. So the maintenance guy came, knocked on our door at 3 o'clock in the morning, or probably a little bit later than that, telling us about this water. And yeah, this is what happened. All the way through the hallway. Mm-hmm.
I think I want to get back in 2 hours.
You say what?
I think I want to get back in 2 hours. Shit.
Get back in 2 hours.
Hmm.
You said get back in 2 hours. All right, so it's Monday. Is January the 24th. This is what we're dealing with. See this? This is the stress of our life. It's not a bad thing, but I wanted to show you what I'm dealing with as I am trying to raise 3 different businesses at the same time. Lord. But yeah. So I'm gonna do new floors. Alright, so this is my closet. And I need my closet. The carpet, the bed. This is the bedroom. Living room. I need my space. This is what is going on. So don't know how long it's gonna take. It's all through. Office. It's the office, man. It's like we can't do nothing. So during the month of February, we had to deal with a lot of back and forth with the management company. We were supposed to be transferred into another apartment, or at least what we didn't ask was for them to, knock off rent. Like, we have been displaced for more time than was necessary. So February, we spent most of the time back and forth and dealing with the harassment of the management team. They about to do all of the floors. All floors getting my baby is so irritated by this. I just don't understand. We've been dealing with this since how long? We've been dealing with this since February. 17th. So, all right, so let me show you from this particular perspective. So I have a folder, it's called Sky House. So all of the communication that I have been getting from the management company, back and forth from the start of the flood that they had happened in my apartment. I just kept a record of everything, all of the communications. I want to keep it here so that nothing, said or anything could get missed. So this is how this is how I operate in business. So I wanted to show you guys something specific because this email right here that was dated February the 25th, the only thing I needed to have done was my floors and a carpet in one of the bedrooms. That was all that needed to be done. At this point, after I had talked with the community manager, she was talking about cabinets and other things needing to be done, and it was totally unnecessary. And if they were going to have this done, they might as well transfer me to another apartment. So I was getting a lot of kickback and flack and all of that before now, where you see this email. And this is the particular email I want you guys like to pay attention to. And the communication, this is what I was dealing with. If I remember correctly, you just need the floors done for work and the cabinet repairs will not interfere with your job, correct? There was no need for cabinets to be done. This was my issue, but we had a lot of back and forth on this. And as soon as I stood up for myself and said what I found to be unfair, because you can see this is how I communicate. I put bullet point. This is just how I communicate. So unfortunately, I found it quite unfair that they were not going to waive the transfer fee because of the condition of my apartment. Also because of a stipulation that they had me sign, which was already done. And I'm going to be talking about how that stipulation was totally unfair, deceptive, and abuse of power. So, but just looking at this email, like she knew exactly what I was going through because I was communicating with her both verbally as well as through emails. And I was very clear on how this was an inconvenience on me and my husband, period. It was more so an inconvenience on me because my name was the only name on the lease. So, but this is proof. I have all of the, communication, even from the first eviction. I have communication as to how, and then immediately after the eviction and the stipulation being signed, I ended up dealing with this situation, which was totally not called for, totally unnecessary, and it was very unfair, and it was just an abuse of power, period. Floors are fucking amazing. Make this black look even sexier. So they have to replace the lining underneath the carpet and fold it back down. They've replaced all of the floor. We just moved stuff. The floors is done. Oh, what they gotta do? Bug. And then they have to do the carpet. So they just came in and measured this. They had to do the baseboards. Here in the hey Rio, I'm about to pull this carpet, this mat up right now. Gotta do baseboards. Pull this back. Nobody got you on camera, boy. What are you doing, Rio? Yes. All right. I'm gonna put this right here for now. Yeah. So yeah, I got his shoes out here. All our plants out here. They need watering pretty soon. They doing good. Yeah. We'll be getting more. All right, so forgive me because I'm kind of using this light and I'm editing this video as I am going through this timeline. So I have text messages. So those of you who know, I like to speak through text because you can't you can't defute words already written on paper or in a device, to be honest. So I don't believe they were done until almost like around March 21st or 25th. I have to go back through and make sure that I got the right. Yeah, it's the 21st, March 21st. All is well, we are reaching out. Okay, yeah. Around March 21st. Oh, yeah, they were done around March 21st. They were done with my apartment, which were a lot of unnecessary repairs. A lot of the repairs that they did to my apartment um, made sense for the apartments below us because of the flood being started on my floor, which was the fifth floor. It would make sense that all of the cabinets and everything would need to be taken care of on the floors below us. So there was really no need for our cabinets and everything to be done. We were without water. We were without lights. We were just without in a place in a space that we pay rent. Rent was paid all the way up until February. So the stipulation was done, and then here we go. I get a response from them in March about rent and assistance and everything. And it's like, why are you asking me this while you're in the middle of doing things to my apartment? So those were other flags too. And they were harassing in a way through the text messages. So, especially when it came to my husband, because we're married. So, um, yeah, it's just unfortunate that it took that long. And as a result of all of this going on, even though you may have seen me or it sounds like I was okay, yeah, I was okay, but I was not really okay. Okay, that period. So with all of that, I have no history of mental illness. I have never, ever been in a mental health facility or just never. And this whole ordeal caused me to have a psychotic break. It caused me to have a lot of delusional emotional distress. And I, I was just out of it.
Love you. I love you.
I love you too.
Nikki, did you smoke some weed this morning at all?
I did.
You did? When did you smoke the weed?
I'm about to go back in the room.
Is there any way out besides that door?
No. It's the only way.
So she smoked weed this morning. What time?
It was like 7 o'clock this morning.
Did this episode start after that?
No, it was going on. I actually let her smoke. So she could try to calm down.
Did it escalate it, or
No.
it didn't change the behavior at all?
It was the same shit, bro. You know what I mean?
When did it start?
Yesterday. And it just
And it's
got
been
worse and
just
worse.
like this?
Yeah, it just got worse and worse. You know what I mean? Throughout the day. It started yesterday at like around maybe 5 o'clock.
Has she? What has she
It
been
wasn't
saying?
violent. That's why I wasn't tripping. She was just kind of talking to herself. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't tripping. But when she got to grabbing shit and throwing shit and yelling and shit, you know what I'm saying? I don't want her neighbors. She was gonna call y'all in, you know, after so long. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't want her to hurt herself, bro.
Did she make any statements that she was going to hurt herself?
No, hell no. But this is some first time shit, bro. She just thought that her mom was something had raped her or helped her get raped or something. Like it's I'm not even for sure no more. You know? I'm not even sure no more. That's why I called.
Mm-hmm.
And
Has she ever been committed to a mental health facility? Has she ever been Baker acted or gone up to Lakeside or anything?
No.
It's okay, let her come out. Let her
There's
come
a
out.
window in here.
Alright, well, let's have her come out.
I was hospitalized for 3 days. I think I went in on a Saturday and I was out on a Tuesday. And I believe they were trying to keep me longer till like a Thursday. But it was like that Tuesday, they took blood from me, and then I was quickly I was quickly dismissed or released, and Mario came to pick me up. So from all of this, I ended up having a psychotic break. Now that's a whole nother story for that's a whole nother video, and I am glad to share my experience with that. But yes, I come home on the 29th, I believe. No, 28th or the 29th, somewhere at the end of March. I got married April 4th. Me and Mario officially got married April 4th, 2022. So, yay. And during that time, I believe that Sky House Orlando had been sold to another company, and the management company had the same key players, but they had renamed it. I believe it was Graystar Management Company, and then they changed off into Gateway Management Company. And and this is why I say you need to read your lease. My lease says a total different management company. And I also have a leasing agent that is no longer working there who signed my lease or was a part of me getting my lease signed and electronically documentation. So those were some red flags. So during the month of April, I was married and they was transitioning all types of things. I started noticing a lot of things going on around in the apartments. My antlers were up now because after that that whole crazy house thing, and to be honest, a lot of them people in there aren't crazy. They've been through some shit, because I am an example of one who's been through some shit. So, and for this to happen, but yeah, they changed, and they had to change things over, and I was hearing all kinds of things from different residents there, because they're familiar with me and they're familiar with Mario, and I was very cautious as to not put myself in there. I didn't want to be triggered by them whatsoever after that situation, because it was already embarrassing enough to end up in the hospital over something they did. But at the time, I didn't really, it didn't really dawn on me, because I was dealing with so many different things at one time. So yeah, and then they started right back into the eviction process again at the end of April. They started sending me emails and asking me things, and like, the communication and everything just started to be very, very weird. I don't want to say weird, but just like cutthroat, wanted to make sure that they had the least amount of communication with me because they knew I would recognize what they were doing and how they were doing it. But it didn't matter, because I could feel the energy of what was going on. So, yeah, needless to say, like everything that I was going through emotionally, financially, mentally, I was still sharp. This time I was sharp. I was recognizing what was going on. And so as the eviction process was going on, I was responding to these messages. So what I did was I read everything, and I followed through with what I could follow through with. Being a person that had limited understanding of this type of legal situation, mainly because I'd never been through it. I've never had to deal with an eviction, and especially I've never had to deal with this type of eviction where someone is retaliating against me, and they're constructively doing it by using the legal system, because they are assuming, because of the color of my skin, that I don't know a damn thing. So, they assumed wrong. That's all I could say. But yeah, I just wasn't knowledgeable in this, because I've never had a reason to even have to look into this type of stuff. So needless to say, yes, I did everything that I could. I've responded. I filed. I did everything, and I missed some steps, but that's what happens when you're trying to learn to protect yourself. You got to do it even if you are afraid. But it still ended up me being put into this eviction issue where now I'm homeless. And I just set up I just filed a motion to reconsider, and I've done another civil suit that is now in discovery motion, standing discovery motion. So if you want to know about how I got into all of that and how I'm going along with it, I will be sharing more. This is just the first video, so don't expect the next one to come the very next day, because I'm in the process of fighting this situation. And I just wanted to share it with you guys so that you guys aren't like wondering where did BeautyCutright go. And not only that, the last thing that you guys probably have saw is the way that they posted the 24-hour eviction on my door this time, because they watched. They have cameras in the elevators and through the hallways, and like they obviously monitored me and Mario leaving our apartment, and then they posted that on our door. And I did file a writ to stay, or a motion to stay during the writ of possession, because I wanted to get a hearing so that I could know how much I really do owe Sky House Orlando LLC, which is on the it's on the lease, but they're not the owner of that building. They're not the owner of Sky House Orlando, so I'm not exactly sure how this is going to pan out, because this is all corporate stuff and how they changed it. And for those of you who know me and know anything about me when it came to the wig making 101 industry, or about how I do wigs and stuff like that, on my BeautyCutright channel, when you're dealing with certain businesses that are located in China, this is how they avoid being sued or found out or trying to get money from them. They change their name and then they start sharing their other people who use them as a resource, and then that becomes an issue. But they do this also in real estate too. So mind you, but yes, this is my story. This is where we are. I just wanted to get the timeline out and share it with you guys. I'm currently waiting on a response from the judge. I am working on the discovery motion. It's litigation. So I'm a person that feels like if I need something done, I'm going to do it myself. And I'm not afraid to try and figure it out. So I have spoken with a few people who are lawyers. I have spoken with a few people who aren't, lawyers, but in my book, some information about this. From your experience, I consider you to be a professional person. So I do want to thank you all who commented on the videos, the posts that I've made about this situation and giving me a little bit more insight and directing me to certain people. Mario, oh my God, he did the exact same thing. And most of the contacts that he knew, helped us through this situation. So yeah, this is where we are. So if you got any questions or you want to know something, or if you're dealing with this yourself and you kind of wondering how to go about it, just look down below in the description box for a way to contact me, and let's see if I can kind of help you out as best I can, despite that I'm going through this right now. I'm getting ready to open up something that could help people who don't have a voice or who don't know the first way to get started in protecting themselves in any way, shape, or form. Because I've been through enough in different aspects with the court, but this is my first with eviction, and I'm very, very happy that I'm learning better in a way that could help and service other people. So I'm going to be opening that up pretty soon. So if you got questions or anything, don't be afraid to ask them in the comment section. If you are looking to help me and support me in this, because this is going to be a journey and it costs money. So I'm going to be sharing as much as I can, free information. But when it comes to the one-on-one with you, if you need one-on-one help, just look down below in the description box. You can donate if you like. I do have a link down there, my CashApp, for you can get some help, however you want to do it. Just look down below. I got most of the information down at the bottom to help with that. And yeah, just stay tuned. I think the next video I probably will be talking about is my experience in a mental facility. I don't know any other word to say. I don't like to say crazy and all that, but it's probably the best word to say is crazy house. Because you kind of feel crazy, but it's not a bad thing. It's just people go through some stuff. You will be amazed at what people have gone through, and I've learned so much being there those 3 days, despite why and the cause of it. So with that said, here we are. Stay tuned, and thank you all, and just look down below for more information if you need it. Have a good one.
And exit the apartment. Okay.
And then what happens after that?
That's up to y'all, whatever y'all do on that. If you gotta fight something in civil court, that's up to y'all. But I have to execute this court order. Does that make sense?
We never received anything from them saying that this was denied at all.
Okay. I understand that, but that, again,
What
that's
is it that
not me.
is-
That's between you and lawyer, courts. My order was posted, which I posted on the
We
door.
never received our request. sir.
Again, that has
You
nothing
do know
to
that,
do with
right?
me. So I'm trying to work with you here.
I know.
I
I
have to execute
understand.
this order. And today's the eviction day. Now.
We
So-
didn't know that, sir.
Okay,
We
well,
were probably would have
now-
been more prepared. So,
I
can
hear you.
we at least get a minute to prepare ourselves, sir?
I'm gonna give you about 10 minutes, get your initial stuff, if you've got other stuff to do, since you've had plenty of time
The 27th is when I posted the eviction, which gave you 24 hours from the
You didn't
27th.
post the eviction.
So
Somebody
what,
else
sir,
posted
sir,
the eviction.
wait. You said it was a 24-hour eviction. So why weren't you here the
Because
next
we don't
day?
have to.
Why
That
did
gives you plenty of time to get out.
No, sir, you know that's not right. You know that's not right.
Do me a favor, step back, man. Please, thank you. Go ahead and start collecting your stuff, okay?
Just come on, man.
Someone get here.
Just come on, man. Just come get your stuff, because they about to start tripping. They about to start using their force, they brutal force on us.